Thank you. The May 4th, 2020 virtual meeting of the Anne Arundel County Council is now back in session. Among other things tonight, we will hear and vote on 3 bills that were previously postponed due to the COVID-19 health crisis. Madam Secretary, please again call the roll.
Mr. Volke.
Present.
Mr. Pruski.
Here.
Ms. Fiedler.
Present.
Ms. Rodvian.
Present.
Ms. Hare.
Present.
Ms. Lacey.
Present.
Ms. Pickard.
Present.
Madam Auditor.
Present.
Madam Legislative Counsel. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Present.
Thank you. All are present, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read the ethics statement.
The Ethics Commission has asked that I advise you that under certain circumstances, members of the public may qualify as lobbyists when they testify before the County Council. If so, the law requires that certain information be filed with the Ethics Commission. The Chairman of the Ethics Commission has asked that those who wish to testify in any form review the general information on lobbying sheet located on the Ethics website under Forms and Publications. If there are any questions about lobbying requirements, please contact the Ethics Commission at 410-222-4413.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Do we have any comments or communications on any subject not included in the printed agenda received from members of the public to be read into the record this evening?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. The invitation to audience is now closed. Is there any item any council member would like to place on the agenda at this time? Seeing none, may I have a motion that the partial reading of any bill, resolution, amendment to a bill or resolution, or minutes constitutes the reading of the whole?
Lacey, so moved.
May I have a second?
Rodvian, second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Madam Secretary, please read the titles of any bills to be introduced this evening.
Bill number 3720, an emergency ordinance concerning finance, taxation, and budget revenue reserve fund.
Madam Secretary, please read the titles of any resolutions to be introduced this evening.
Resolution number 1120, resolution nominating a member to serve on the Anne Arundel County Ethics Commission. Resolution number 1220, resolution recognizing Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Day in Anne Arundel County.
Thank you. May I have a motion to suspend the rules to vote on resolution numbers 1120 and 1220 first this evening?
Lacey, so moved.
May I have a second?
Rodvian, second.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Volke.
Aye.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian.
Aye.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Lacey.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The motion to suspend the rules to vote on resolution numbers 1120 and 1220 is passed.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read the title of resolution number 1120.
Resolution number 1120, resolution nominating a member to serve on the Anne Arundel County Ethics Commission.
Thank you. This resolution has multiple sponsors, as I am one. Mr. Volke, Ms. Rodvian, and Ms. Lacey have also co-sponsored. Ms. Lacey, would you introduce the resolution, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This resolution is the council appointing Mr. Daniel J. Semick of Annapolis to serve on the County Ethics Commission. And when we first received his materials, I reviewed his resume, and he has an amazing first sentence about what he does, which is that he is an analyst in charge at the U.S. Government Accountability Office, the nonpartisan investigative arm of Congress, where he supervised audits and staff and coordinated with legal, editorial, economic, and social science, advisors. And so I thought, well, what a bang up job he must have done there, covering a wide variety of circumstances, which is of course important if you're going to be an ethics commissioner, because all kinds of different circumstances are going to come up. And then Councilwoman Pickard and I spoke with him on the phone. Seems to be a lovely human being and one more than capable of doing an excellent job in this role. So I ask all of my colleagues to support this nomination.
Is there any other discussion on this resolution this evening? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on resolution number 1120.
Mr. Volkey,
Aye.
Mr. Pruski,
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler,
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian,
Aye.
Ms. Hare,
Aye.
Ms. Lacy. Ms. Lacy, you're muted. Still muted.
Okay, that's really weird. The space bar did the opposite thing. Aye.
Thank you. Ms. Pickard?
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Resolution number 1120 is adopted.
Madam Secretary, please read the title of resolution 1220.
Resolution number 1220, resolution recognizing Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Day in Anne Arundel County.
Mr. Volkey is the sponsor of this resolution. Mr. Volkey, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A constituent in Glen Burnie actually reached out to me with a request that the county recognize Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Day. So I did some research along with some of the council staff who were great in working this through, and we were able to sort of look into the situation as it pertains to awareness on multiple sclerosis. And certainly this is something that we've not recognized in the past, but we have done things like this before for recognition of Tourette's Syndrome Day, which has happened before, as well as a couple other similar conditions that the council has recognized. So it was at the request of a constituent that I put this in, who's been suffering from multiple sclerosis for years and has been volunteering with the National MS Society as well as the Maryland chapter. And the hope is that with the council sort of taking the lead on this and sponsoring it at the Anne Arundel County level, that it will sort of bring recognition and light to an issue which may not always get as much attention as it deserves. So I would ask that my colleagues support this, and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. I'd like to be added as a sponsor of this resolution. Ms. Fiedler?
I'd like to also be added as a sponsor.
Ms. Rodvian?
I would like to also be added as a sponsor.
Ms. Hare?
I'd like to also be added as a sponsor, please.
Mr. Pruski?
Please add me as a sponsor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion on this resolution at this time? Madam Secretary, please call the roll on resolution 1220.
Mr. Volkey?
Aye.
Mr. Pruski?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian?
Aye.
Ms. Hare?
Aye.
Ms. Lacy?
Aye.
Ms. Pickard?
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Resolution number 1220 is adopted.
Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 220 as amended.
Bill number 220, an ordinance concerning public works, roads and rights of way, obstructions, abandonment of facilities.
Thank you. This is a bill sponsored by both the administration and Mr. Volkey. Mr. Volkey, did you want to speak to this bill at this time?
I thank you, Madam Chair. I certainly am happy to speak more on it, but I'm willing to defer to the administration. I think we've all talked about this one quite a bit. It's been in front of us a number of times. So with that, if the admin has anything to add, please jump in. Otherwise, I just hope that everyone can support this. I think it's some common sense legislation that'll help our county.
Thank you. Mr. Barron, would the administration like to respond?
Good evening. For the record, Pete Barron with the County Exec's Office. Joining me on the screen are Mr. Bacquier and Mr. Phipps from DPW and Ms. Blair Klausmeyer from the Office of Law. I'll echo what Councilman Volkey just said. We've been through a couple of rounds with this. There's been some very productive discussions that have added some amendments to address some of the concerns. Just to remind everybody, since this bill was the second bill that was introduced in 2020, so it was a lifetime ago, this bill will allow the county to address underground and above ground infrastructure that is in county rights of way. We have run across a couple issues where projects have been delayed because a piece of infrastructure was blocking county work, and it just took some time to get the utility company to respond. This bill gives the county a couple of tools to use. So we ask that you pass this bill tonight. Thank you.
Is there any discussion from the council this time? Seeing none, we will now open the public hearing. Madam Secretary, do you have any testimony received from members of the public to read into the record?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We'll now close the public hearing on Bill number 220 as amended. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 220 as amended.
Bill number 220, an ordinance concerning public works, roads and rights of way, obstructions, abandonment of facilities.
Thank you. Is there last chance for discussion? Okay, seeing none. Madam Secretary, please call the roll on Bill number 220 as amended.
Mr. Volkey?
With great pleasure. Aye.
Mr. Pruski?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian?
Aye.
Ms. Hare?
Aye.
Ms. Lacy?
Aye.
Ms. Pickard?
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 220 as amended is passed.
Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 820.
Bill number 820, an ordinance concerning Lock Haven Special Community Benefit District.
Thank you. This is a bill from the administration. Mr. Barron, you have the floor.
Good evening again, Pete Barron with the administration. Joining me on the screen are Mr. Beecham from Budget and Ms. Blair Klausmeyer from Law. This is another bill that was introduced before the crisis. Bill number 8-20 creates the Lock Haven Special Community Benefit District. The listed purposes of this community is in Council District 7. The listed purposes for the SCBD are to maintain, construct, improve, develop, acquire, replace, repair, and protect community-owned real property and improvements, including dredging, erosion control, lighting, security systems, security patrols, and utility improvements, and to provide for the construction, dredging, and maintenance of the community pier, boat slips, boat launch ramp, and other community-owned property, and includes the administrative implementation and operating expenses. There are 433 eligible properties. The Lock Haven community submitted 321 petitions. Out of those, 271 petitions, or 62.5%, voted yes. There were 15 no petitions, and the remainder were disqualified for one reason or another. I believe the number was 40. This meets the requirement of a simple majority required prior to the enactment of Bill 28-19. Lock Haven's petition had been submitted to the budget office for review prior to the effective date of 28-19. So with that, we ask you to move the bill, and we're here to answer any questions.
Thank you. Councilwoman Hare.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Jessica Hare, District 7. I'm just curious on the disqualified petitions. That seems like an awful lot. What happened with all those disqualified petitions?
I'm going to ask budget to weigh in, but they can be disqualified for all sorts of reasons, or possibly Ms. Blair Klausmeyer might know.
Lori Blair Klausmeyer, Deputy County Attorney. They sometimes get, I don't know the specifics for these because the Office of Law does not review the petitions. They're reviewed by budget and by the auditor, but they can be disqualified because not all the owners have signed properly. Or there's like an estate and the documentation has not been provided. So that's the various reasons. It's more has to do with form than anything else, form of the signatures or the petition itself that's returned.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any questions from the council? Madam Secretary, do we have any testimony received from members of the public to be read into the record this evening?
Diane Quigley from Edgewater. My name is Diane Quigley, and I am chair for the Lock Haven SCBD committee. I've lived in Lock Haven for over 20 years and have been a member of the LHCA Board of Directors for the last 10 years. For 60 years, LHCA has been a voluntary association with approximately a 60% participation rate. Lock Haven has many community assets, such as a pier, a boat ramp, a swim beach, tennis courts, basketball courts, a ball field, a playground, and many other community areas which require maintenance. In order to meet the budget requirements to maintain the community assets, the LHCA board and membership faced the decision to either raise the voluntary dues significantly or become an SCBD. In November 2018, the membership voted to become an SCBD, and a committee was formed to move forward with the SCBD petition process. The SCBD process was started in 2018 prior to the passing of the 2/3 requirement, allowing Lock Haven to fall under the 50% plus one approval requirement. Within a 2-month period, the SCBD committee contacted all Lock Haven property owners either in person, via email, or via UPS mail. The committee collected 292 signatures in favor of the SCBD out of 434 eligible properties, or approximately 67%. I was informed that a few of the petitions were disqualified due to misspellings, etc., but we have far exceeded the required simple majority. Therefore, I respectfully ask that the county council members vote in favor of Lock Haven becoming a special community benefit district. Melanie Harwick Davis from Edgewater. Hello, thank you, Council Chair and members, for hearing this bill today. I would like to voice my support as a Lock Haven resident. We have a wonderful community, but dismal, degrading common spaces that are becoming a hazard. We truly need the additional revenue from all residents in order to repair and maintain the parks, courts, and equipment. In addition, the work will help our community employ local Anne Arundel residents, companies, contractors in a time of great need. It will, of course, take some time to create enough funding for some of the larger projects. Therefore, the sooner we start this benefit district, the better. In appreciation, Melanie Hartwick Davis. Lance Davis, Edgewater, Maryland. As president of LHCA, I represent the board and current members of the association. We are in favor of the SCBD and have worked hard to bring this information to our community. Through our efforts, we are a stronger community, which has helped better prepare us for situations like we have today. I ask that you vote for this bill so that we can continue to provide residents of Lock Haven the community they deserve. Bill and Susan Vosberg, Edgewater, Maryland. A vast majority of Lock Haven residents support this legislation. We look forward to becoming an SCBD and using the much needed funds to attend to the needs of our community. Thank you for passing this legislation. Last testimony is from Patricia Hines, Edgewater, Maryland. I hope the County Council will support approval for the SCBD for Lock Haven. I have been a resident of Lock Haven most recently for the past 35 years and grew up here as a child. I served on the board of directors for 15 years. I have signed in support of this SCBD as in order to maintain the assets we have, we need the support of all property owners as everyone enjoys these amenities and value in their property values. We are a very active community with a large portion of upkeep completed by residents. Thank you for your consideration of this bill. And that concludes the public testimony on Bill 820.
Thank you. The public hearing on Bill 820 is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 820.
Bill number 820, an ordinance concerning Lock Haven Special Community Benefit District.
Is there any further discussion from my colleagues? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on Bill number 820.
Mr. Volkey?
Aye.
Mr. Pruski?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian?
Aye.
Ms. Hare?
Aye.
Ms. Lacy?
Aye.
Ms. Pickard?
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 820 is passed.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 1920.
Bill number 1920, an ordinance concerning current expense budget, third quarter, fund transfer and supplementary appropriation.
Thank you. This is a bill from the administration. Mr. Barron, you have the floor.
Good evening again. For the record, Pete Barron. Joining me on the screen will be Mr. Taru from Budget and Ms. Blair Klausmeyer from Office of Law. We also have Ms. Sandy O'Neill and Ms. Billy Penley from Health, Ms. Kathy Koch from ACDS, and Mr. Michael Beard from Finance, who will be waiting in the virtual audience if there are questions. Once again, Pete Barron with the administration. Bill number 1920 is our third quarter transfer bill. We actually discussed this a long time ago at a work session, but to remind everyone, Bill 1920 transfers $120,000 from the CAO contingency fund to animal control to replace a kennel, and $75,000 to the CAO department for a City of Annapolis street light. This bill also recognizes $777,300 in grants that were not anticipated in the FY20 budget. 6 of those grants are in the Health Department, 1 in Department of Aging and Disabilities, and 2 for the State's Attorney's Office. This bill also recognizes $370,000 of revenue related to the community fund. We do have a technical amendment.
Mr. Barron, I'm sorry to interrupt. Could you repeat the last little bit of what you said? We lost your audio for a moment.
I even hardwired myself in tonight. Apologies. The bill has $777,300 in grants that were not anticipated in the FY20 budget. 6 of them are in the Health Department, 1 in Aging and Disabilities, and 2 for the State's Attorney's Office. $370,000 of revenue related to the Community Development Block Grant Program in the Community Development Fund. And we will be asking for a technical amendment at the appropriate time, as there was a typo in the original draft, and we need to correctly identify the character name under the Office of State's Attorney. With that, the administration is happy to answer any questions.
Do I have any questions from my colleagues? Seeing none, we will now open the public hearing. Madam Secretary, do we have any testimony received from members of the public to be read into the record?
No, Madam Chair.
The public hearing on Bill number 1920 is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 1920.
Bill number 1920, an ordinance concerning current expense budget, third quarter, fund transfer and supplementary appropriation.
Thank you. This is an opportunity for further discussion. Mr. Barron, did you want to add anything?
Just please add the technical amendment.
Sure. Madam Secretary, please read amendment number 1.
Oops. Amendment number 1. This technical amendment corrects a typographical error and correctly identifies the character name under Office of the State's Attorney.
May I have a motion to adopt?
Councilman Pruski, motion to adopt.
May I have a second?
Councilwoman Rodvian, second.
Is there any discussion on this amendment? Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendment number 1.
Mr. Volkey?
Aye.
Mr. Pruski?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms.
Aye.
Rodvian?
Aye.
Thank you. Ms. Hare?
Aye.
Ms. Lacy?
Aye.
Ms. Pickard?
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Amendment number 1 is adopted.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please call the roll on bill number 1920 as amended.
Mr. Volkey?
Aye.
Mr. Pruski?
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler?
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian?
Aye.
Ms. Hare?
Aye.
Ms. Lacy?
Aye.
Ms. Pickard?
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 1920 as amended is passed.
Thank you. Is there any other business to be brought before the County Council this evening? Seeing none, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Volkey, so moved.
May I have a
Pruski,
second?
Pruski, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 The County Council is adjourned until 9 a.m. Wednesday, May 6, 2020. Please continue to check the county website for important messages and updates. And it's good to be back in business, everybody. Thank you for a good night.